I'm Chip Templeton here at the Charles Templeton Ragtime and Jazz Festival. This is our 16th rendition of that, and it's right here in the Mitchell Memorial Library here on the campus of Mississippi State University. And I have as my guest this morning, Mr. Jeff Barnhart from Mystic, Connecticut.
It's great to be here. Hi, Chip.
And his wife, Ann, who is always welcome, is also here for the festival as well. So welcome back to your Mississippi part-time home.
This is my southern home.
That's right.
And we missed so much being able to be here live last year, but we sure enjoyed having an opportunity to present a virtual show, which was extremely successful in 2021. And now the folks that we had invited to appear are now here in person. And it's going to be an amazing weekend.
I'm going to brag on Jeff because I know he won't brag on himself. He's one of the greatest entertainers that you'll ever want to listen to. Obviously, you can tell from his charm that helps his music as well. He brings a smile to you.
I'm blessed.
Whatever he's playing, it's meaningful and just a lot of fun. And but you came to our very first festival 16 years ago, and then there was a gap. And then you came back as a performer, and then I believe it was 7 years ago or 8 years ago?
7 or 8. This might be my 8th.
Right. So Jeff is the artistic director of the festivals, which means he helps us get this great talent from around the United States and even around the world that we assemble here. And they're not just warm bodies. They're people that actually kind of go together that are trying to cover a particular process that you think that we need to learn about a certain type of music.
And experience. You know, that's one thing about this wonderful museum and this wonderful event, the annual event. It brings history alive. It's cross-disciplinarian. So whether you're a sociologist, anthropologist, historian, musician, artist, designer, there's something for you. And this is what we love to do. Our mission is to bring people together with our passion for the music, our passion for the time period, the creativity. And the museum, of course, the subtitle is The Business of Music. Music is always a business. We all enjoy it, but to get into those nuts and bolts of how it all works brings the appreciation level to a greater level. You know, so it's something that I truly honor, and the mission and the message at this museum and for this event resonate very deeply with me.
That's very well said. We have a purpose here. It's not just a music festival. So for those that are not familiar with our collection, it's sheet music, it's recordings, and it's instruments, meaning Victrolas and that sort of thing. And so the business of music, you know, our collection here goes from the 1870s all the way till now. We're still obtaining things. But explain to our audience a little bit about what the ragtime era was, and maybe jazz or blues or however. Just kind of give us a quickie of what eras that we're kind of trying to study this weekend.
And you know, study is an important word, but we also present a huge upbeat, entertaining, if you want to call it edutainment.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to copyright that.
It really works out well when you think of it that way. It's not a whole bunch of cobwebbed lecturers who are saying, now let me tell you about Scott Joplin. This is, let's get into it, let's play it, let's experience it with the vivacity and the vigor of its creative time. Ragtime is the trunk of the American tree, Chip. And
it's a magnolia tree now. Yeah, we're in Mississippi.
That's what, magnolia tree, that's right, deep roots. And the music that came from ragtime, being our first really indigenous American music, where we stopped trying to so blatantly and baldly emulate the European ideal. We started sticking in some fascinating rhythms, some syncopation that created this ragtime sound where the notes were not where they belonged. So this was really exciting. Ragtime would evolve. Blues was coming up, especially down here in the Mississippi Delta.
Right.
You have blues going on pretty much concurrently. And like two waves heading towards one another, once they coalesced and merged, you had a new kind of music borrowing the best elements of both, which we call jazz. So the timing was about 1895 to about 1917. Ragtime was the prevalent pop music of its day, nationwide. Then the blues happening in the South start emigrating up to Chicago first, Kansas City, over to New York, and then, of course, New Orleans. Jazz says, hey, we're going to grab some stuff here. I'm in the grocery store of music. Let's see what we can create with this. Jazz comes along, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now we've got all those branches of that trunk, that ragtime magnolia tree.
Very good synopsis of that. Before we run out of time for this segment, give us a rundown of the lineup that you've brought to us this weekend of the performers.
We have a returning favorite, young Adam Swanson, who just turned 30 this year, and who was last here 12 years ago at the age of 18.
That's right. I remember that one.
I knew him since he was 11. A magnificent historian, performer, just a whirlwind. We could have an entire festival just with him, but you want more. So Donald Ryan is here, a very gifted ragtimist, but also an incredibly unique and beautiful jazz performer. So we love the fact that we can bring Mr. Ryan here. Right. He's terrific.
Now, Adam is from Colorado, right?
Adam's now living in Colorado.
And then
originally from Iowa. Donald Ryan is originally from Trinidad, Tobago.
Okay.
And lives and has lived most of his adult life in Oklahoma. Taught at the Oral Roberts University there in Tulsa, and he's just an amazing, amazing man. So finishing up the Sweet and Hot Quartet, my wife Ann and me, we're not Ivory and Gold this year, we're the Sweet and Hot Quartet. Rounding out the quartet, a percussionist from Davenport, Iowa. His name is Josh Duffy. He is an amazing vintage drummer of the 20s style. And then sometimes back home, he throws on leather and chains and does a 1980s punk rock show.
Oh,
so
boy.
He won't be doing that here. And then we finish up with a guy who you just met in a previous interview, T.J. Muller, who hailed from the northern part of England, has now settled in St. Louis, and is a delightful multi-instrumentalist. This quartet does ragtime, does pop, does early pop, Tin Pan Alley, jazz. We've got it all. The festival has it all. If you're not doing anything this weekend, you should come here. If you're doing something else, cancel your plans or bring your friends with you and come here.
Well, Jeff, thank you for all you've done for us and what you've assembled for us this year. And we're just going to have a great time today and tomorrow. So thank you. Again, we're coming to you from the Mitchell Memorial Library at Mississippi State University for the 16th Annual Charles Templeton Ragtime and Jazz Festival.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.